And all right, we're finding out the cause of Michael Jackson's death. Let me read it over again. Acute propofol intoxication, also other conditions contributing to death, benzodiazepine effect. Let's go to our doctor, Dr. Lawrence Kobilinsky. So, doctor, spell this out for us here as layman. Is propofol then the main cause of death? Explain it for us.
Well, first of all, this press release reveals two things that we didn't know before. It certainly confirms what the affidavit said, namely that there were these three benzodiazepines, Valium, Ativan, and Versed present. But it also says there was ephedrine. Ephedrine is a stimulant. It's not the kind of medication you want for somebody suffering from insomnia, but that could have just been as a result of consuming an over-the-counter medication, a decongestant. What is critical here is the primary cause of death is described as acute intoxication from propofol. This seems to contradict what Dr. Murray said in the affidavit. Dr. Murray said he gave a very low dosage of propofol, 25 milligrams. That would not be sufficient to give this designation as a primary cause of death of acute intoxication.
Okay.
It's certainly a synergistic effect with the benzodiazepines, yes, but as a primary cause, it's surprising. We have to get the tox report.
Okay. So, but the numbers for you aren't adding up. Is that what you're saying?
Until we get that tox report, it's going to be hard to interpret the propofol concentrations in his system.
But this doesn't bode well for Dr. Murray. We can say that.
Not at all, not at all. He's either going to be facing a manslaughter charge or negligent homicide.
Okay, let's go to our lawyer. Anita, you agree with that?
Absolutely. Here in California, it would be involuntary manslaughter, which is kind of what I think we've always talked about, which is more of a criminal negligence standard. So it's not the intent to kill. It's doing maybe a lawful act and a death results. But given the fact that we're seeing the propofol and the coroner is saying it's a homicide, now it's up to LAPD what their investigation leads to, and then the district attorney, they'll affix a charge. If they do charge Dr. Murray, they'll affix it. They could go after murder charges if the evidence warrants it by saying conscious disregard for human life. You know, that's something that we've talked about in the past. That puts it into a murder category. And it's, like I said, conscious disregard for human life.
Gotcha.
If you think what he was doing, you know, he knew better, and it was such a risk to Michael Jackson, that affixes it at a much higher level than involuntary manslaughter.
Okay, let's get a call in. Jackie's with us in Alabama. Hi, Jackie, your thoughts here?
Yes, sir. What I was wondering is, why are they not laying blame on Michael Jackson himself? He admitted that he wanted, to be under, to be put to sleep, be medicated. Does he not, take some blame for, his death itself?
Well, he might take some blame, and I'll turn this over to Anita, but just because a patient is begging for a medication, as a doctor, you don't give it. Especially as Dr. Kobilinsky pointed out, not only propofol, but other drugs as well. And given a timeline we had from interviews and police reports from basically 1:30 in the morning to 10:40, Anita, the guy was over-medicated, and it was topped off by the most powerful propofol.
Absolutely. And propofol, you can't get it at a pharmacy. We've talked about that before. He had no business administering it ever to anyone in a house setting. So I don't care if Michael Jackson begged for it, no matter what. As a doctor, as a standard of care, he should have said, no, I can't because this is so dangerous.
Yeah.
As well as potentially illegal. He had no business ever administering that.
Dr. Kobilinsky, again, from reports we had, it was Valium at 1:30 in the morning, lorazepam, midazolam, and then Diprovan, and those were given, the first three drugs given at various times. Isn't that the way you understand it?
Well, it's even beyond that because two of those drugs were given in addition to the first set of medications. So there were administrations of these 5 drugs and then followed by propofol. So it was a toxic cocktail, plain and simple. The doctor was trained in pharmacology. He should have known better. It was a very bad decision to try to solve this insomnia problem using these kinds of drugs.
And real quick, doctor, just